Hello, chat. For those that are new to Final Fantasy 11 or returning to Final Fantasy 11, I will go step by step how to get Final Fantasy set up. Those that are looking to download middleware, I'll show that as well. First step is go to your browser. Once you're in your browser, you type in FFXI, enter, go to play online, click on their official site. In the upper left corner, it says free window clinic download. That and it'll send you to this page with 5 installs that you have to do. And I do recommend making a new file folder inside of your file explorer. Put on whichever drive you have available, plus with space. Once you start downloading each one, I recommend go one at a time. And in the upper right corner, you'll see a download arrow in your browser. If it's not trying to download, click on the arrow and it might say keep. You click on that and it'll start downloading. Some browsers does this, some don't. But once all of it is downloaded, you direct those downloads to the folder that you created in File Explorer on the drive that you want the game to sit in. Then, if when you scroll down on their site, it shows you step by step. Plus, it shows images and text to explain how to get the game up and going, how to unzip the folders, whatever you want to click to have downloaded. I recommend click all 3 boxes when you're at that step. And then it'll ask you to install DirectX. Mine told me I had to, even though I have the latest DirectX, but I just followed the steps. Then it'll ask you to download Play Online Viewer. Once that's done, it'll send you to the final step to install Final Fantasy 11's launcher. Both are launchers. Normally, I use Final Fantasy 11's launcher, not Play Online Viewer launcher. Sometimes mine don't load. Once you're all done downloading everything and following the steps, you open up your file explorer, go to the drive that you sent it, open your Final Fantasy 11 folder, go to locate Square Enix, click on Square Enix folder, click on Final Fantasy 11 folder, scroll down, you'll see Tools US. This will still apply to EU players. You click on your Tools US or EU, go to Final Fantasy 11 configuration application. You click on that, hit yes, and it'll open up the configuration. I recommend, these are my recommendations to get the game up and going. If you're not using Windower, then you go through these settings. You click on borderless window, set your resolution to the monitor that you have. This game will not stretch as wide on those wide monitors. You can try and mess with that, but I recommend sticking to your 1440 monitors that are not widescreen. You know, your basic size. Then you adjust the UI size to how small or big or in between the game UI is going to look like. If you set it to small, everything is going to look tiny. I recommend somewhere in between the 4th line to the 6th line. That's a good starting point. Then for your preset qualities, I recommend try and push it to the highest quality that you can. Now, if this box is clicked, unclick it. It's basically when you launch the game all the time, it'll play a movie. I recommend unclick it. But if you're new, I recommend watching the movie for the first time. And after you see the movie the first time, and you don't want to see it anymore, just come to your configuration and turn the box off. Go to graphics setting, it'll have draw precise. I recommend set it to your native resolution of your monitor, or you could push it to the highest. Maintain aspect ratio, turn that on. Make sure your texture, 2D mapping, font, and vegetation movement is at the maximum. Turn on draw distance, enhance shading. And once that's all done, you can hit close and then save. But if you want to play on controller, click on gamepad settings and open up your gamepad settings. Whichever controller is connected to your computer, this configuration will detect your device. You click on the down arrow and it'll show you. You click on the controller you're using. Make sure in the gamepad options, the first 3 boxes are turned on. You can turn on X input if you like, and or turn on gamepad when game is inactive. I have mine turned on. And then you go down from that box for your directional control devices. This is basically setting up the 3 main controls of your controller: your movement, your left stick, your camera, your right stick, and your D-pad. And this will help configure it so it can recognize those 3 main inputs. Click on each one to set it up. Mine's already set up. Once you're done, you hit OK on each one. You go one by one, and it'll tell you what button to press. Then there are predefined setups, your patterns A, B, C, D, E, and F. But these are my settings, and I'm very used to it. It's simple. So for select and confirm, that's my X button. That's button 2. Cancel, that's button 3. That's my circle button on the controller. Oh, and I'm using a PS5 controller. It's similar to Xbox. I'm starting from the bottom where there's your 4 letters or shapes, whichever controller you're on. Select and confirm is X or A. Cancel is circle or B. Active window, so this is button 2, 3. So active window is button 4. For me, it's triangle. I'm not too sure what button that is. I'm going counterclockwise, but that's your upper button. Then for main menu, button 1, that's my square button. Then for auto run, that's my left bumper. For macro plates, that's button 7, and button 8, that's left trigger, or L2 and R2. Once you have it all set up, you hit apply. Then hit close, hit save, and you're all set for playing the game. Now, if you wanting to do Windower for Final Fantasy 11 or retail, go to the official site of Windower. Make sure you create a separate folder outside the Final Fantasy 11 folder you made, so you could keep track of where all the add-ons are at, where it won't get all mixed up in the Final Fantasy folder. Once you have it all downloaded, you launch the Windower, and it'll look just like this. Go down where it says edit, it's a pencil. Click on that. Then you put in your resolution monitor. Mine is 2560 by 1440. Borderless window. Auto detect, where it'll auto detect your language. Go to game. Turn off hardware mouse. Turn on sound. Turn on always play sound. Super sampling, turn that on. Bump mapping, turn that on. And always enable gamepad, keep that on if you're playing on controller. For MIP mapping, set that to 0. UI scale, set that to about 1.5 to 1.6. So it'll still look good, but not blown up. Don't mess with gamma. Go to advanced, turn allow Windows key, turn that off. Once you're done, click the back arrow in the upper left corner. If you want to put some add-ons down, you can. Some plugins, you can. If some add-ons or plugins you're looking for is not listed, you could go to GitHub or Windower 4, and people will have the links to download the code, and you direct it to the Windower add-on folder. And most add-ons are, well, the stuff that you download are mostly add-ons, so you direct it to the add-on folder. And if you're kind of confused on how that works, why is some add-ons not working, I do recommend looking it up, because I'm still learning as I'm making this video. Once you're done, you launch the game. And you're going to have a whole lot of downloading to do. Now, if you have a Final Fantasy 14 account already, you can play Final Fantasy 11 with that account. You know, your Square Enix account you already currently have running. So you don't have to make a separate account. And here's one tip that will help a lot of new people and returning people to the game. Is if you don't want the game to be drawing off of your credit card every single month, you can sit there and buy Krista through the Square Enix Mog Station. You figure out, and the website will tell you how much 1 month cost, and then it'll break it down into Krista. And once it tells you, for example, let's say 30 days is about $15, convert $15 into Krista. Those are points. And let's say it requires 1,700 points. 1,700, about $14 to $16. You know, they include tax, sometimes they don't. Then you go down. If they don't sell the exact lumber, you could custom exact the number. Then you enter your card, buy the Krista, and then Final Fantasy 11 will draw off of your Krista because you're not permanently keeping your card on that account unless you go through add payment method, but you're not. And then the game will start drawing off a Krista instead of your card. And once you run out of Krista for those 30 days, your account stops until you refill it. It's almost like a mobile phone. You go out by minutes to make the phone work for that whole month. Similar design almost. That's what I'm doing for my account. But once all your downloads are done, then you go to character creation and take your time figuring out what type of character you want to play as. The character creation is limited, but it's still fun to look at it. But I hope this little step by step on getting it set up works for everybody. I'll make another video on the basics, what to do at the start after creating your character. So I do stream on Twitch and YouTube. The links are down below. I hope. And until then, I hope everybody enjoys my first tutorial video for the game. And I'll catch you all next time.